afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast. My host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hillside Defender of the Fatherland, off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Kholodny Ferma winter. The setting is 1944. The Ardennes assault is well underway. In the east, we got Alligators in the Sioux of New York. I'm just going to refer to them as Alligators, fighting for America, freedom, democracy, liberty, taking on the role here of the 19th Division, holding out against the Germans as they, under the command of Panzergrenadier Angreifen, attacks here full force with the 1 and 16th Panzerdivision Windhund with Fortifications, Spec Ops, and Overwatch. Triple Infantry versus Alligators, a Rifle Company, Heavy Cavalry, and Infantry Company with Volkskriegs Kubwagen versus Stabreifen here for Alligators. It's marching out there to the tunes of freedom. With the Sturmpaniers advancing out, and Angreifen's got to try and put some pressure, I think, around the carve point, probably like the fuel point, with the Sturmpaniers using their ability to attack, and just initially in the early game, really get a good advantage in there, unless, of course, your opponent actually focuses troops early on, in which case they can be focused down. That's sort of the trick to the Sturmpaniers. If your opponent actually separates his troops a bit there in the early game, you can hurt them really hard. In this case, seems like he's not doing that. He's actually trying to set a battlefield ahead of time. He's grabbing the munitions point here, waiting right around the corner to ambush any Americans. Note the strip of barbed wire is not finished. He's just using to prevent anyone from actually being able to creep up on the Sturmpaniers, I guess. So they're running northward. So we can see very aggressive start here from Angreifen. Very aggressive. More barbed wire sort of being prepared. He's clearly got something in mind versus Alligators. So definitely not the usual sort of commandos moves in general. We got sandbags up there as well. So he's already here thinking ahead for a battle against his opponent. Very interesting stuff there. We got Ravnok moving ahead here. Will he be ready for what comes next? So there you go. Sandbags, barbed wire, all prepared. Sturmpaniers in the south is going to come to the rear. Some of the M1 carbines versus the Sturmgewehr 44. Shots fired there. Rounds flying out. The Americans there ducking for cover. So Sturmpaniers just barrel towards it. Ravn moving in, but of course they could get flanked in by the Volksgrenadiers. There's some there being shot to bits, and there you go. Casualties piling up. Sturmpanier taking loss, and there you go. The Volksmarine to support the Sturmpaniers as the Riflemen shift in. In the centre, Volksmarine running out the Riflemen here as well, who are quickly falling back. They've got reaction by Alligators. In the south, the Riflemen are falling back as the Volksmarine move into the scene as well, gaining firepower superiority. No, Alligators move back in. He moves. Not the Alligators move back in, but Alligators, the fellow, moves back in. There are no Alligators on the map unless Reddit's been adding a feature I'm not aware of. With the patch 23.67B-Alpha Omega, we're adding Alligators to the game. Also, this is not a Canadian accent because we've been all replaced by Americans. Anyways, Riflemen over the Volksgrenadiers. Shots being fired there. More Riflemen away there for Alligators. Men. Freed has an awkward name. I do not want people to confuse the possibility there's actually Alligators in Company of Heroes. And again, it doesn't make sense. For some reason, my mind worries about that. My mind worries. At some point, someone's going to seriously ask, where are the Alligators, Dean? Where are the Alligators? Anyways, pushing up against the Riflemen there. Cool by the growing points here. 19th Division advances heroically, freedomly. With more forces away there for Angreifen, going for heavy force going to build there. Could certainly be a setup there for Fortifications, which is a doctrine Angreifen loves, in part because it has S-mines, and Angreifen loves S-mines. Possibly loves S-mines more than he loves playing as the Germans, which is something Angreifen almost does religiously. I mean, he occasionally plays allies in small bursts, but primarily he plays Axis. He plays a ton of it. He plays thousands of games of Axis. Cool by versus re-echelons. In the south, we got Riflemen thinking about a bit. They're using the cover. The thing about barbed wire, he technically... Right, my apologies there, ran out of space. Apparently forgotten to clean up a bit there, so my apologies. Lost a bit there, but basically what I was about to say, bits of cover there can still be used even though there's wired off there, due to how sort of cover it somehow works and the barbed wire also works, so go figure. Technically they become slightly less effective in some cases, and it's still be suppressed a bit easier, but it's just a little thing there. At least it seems like they get the cover bit there, so I don't know. Anyways, shots being fired there, taken away for Angreifen. Not been a good headquarters for that much infantry. Angreifen is, at least in my experience, not a full mechanized regiment player always, so he does go for it at times. In the south here, folks are defending against the big push here from Alligators, thinking he's got the opening. Is sadly he does not. Instead finds his men repulsed, but he retreats in time. Captain on the way there. Interesting move there. Most of the time you see lieutenants, but some players do go for the captain. We'll have to see what Alligators is planning with that move. What is he thinking? What is his plan? Watch and find out. I mean, the suit, of course, is going to be a very good bet, but there's also the potential of pack houses, which aren't overlooked, I think, part of the American arsenal, which can be really potent and well utilised. Angreifen continues a successful push in the south, moving ahead with the Fultz Grenadiers. Sandbagging up here by the fuel pump. We got Captain inbound there. The Thompson locked and loaded alongside the M1 Garand, not carbines. And there go Fultz call down them. They're going to have to retreat here because the Captain basically has more firepower to offer than the Fultz Grenadiers. Particularly since the Captain didn't die, and that of course means up close the Thompsons is really, really good. More Fultons are robbing, but the engagement I think is already turning a bit pear-shaped here for Angreifen, though he's got a few kills down the Captain. There we go, another one in. More round from the inbound here. And up north here, not much further happening there for Angreifen. Shots being fired, there you go, Captain almost dead. That'll be a pretty big loss here for Alligators in the early game, but there you go. Right from arrived to the scene, the point has been defended. We got mines up here by the cover, but also just the path here that the barbed wire and the sandbags create, sort of little direction there, so minding up that spot is a really good move there by Angreifen. A few shoemen in down there. Jürgen, I hope this time you actually buried some mines and not your shoe. That was embarrassing. There you go, Alligators, they're going for the Stuart light tank. But still no sign of adoption there from Alligators. Though neither is there from Angreifen. We got Panzer up for the Sturmpanies, he's seeing the Captain. So he's probably banking on a Stuart, in which case having Panzer and the Sturmpanies is pretty good. Plus, most American players just never lay down mines, so Panzer pretty good upgrade overall because of the Americans. And there you go, charging forward straight into the mine cover, shattered, but so are the Americans. We got the Sturmpanies joining in there, Raketen and Panzerbüchse in hand. So there you go, there's a really good mine there for Angreifen, less good mine there for Alligators. Pretty sure Alligators in general don't like mines, but you know, details. Fultz there's a rifleman here. Got the Stuart moving out there for Alligators for America. Freedom, Florida. Fultz defending the point here. We got more mines to be leaving there by Angreifen. More or less mining the exact same spot because lightning may not strike twice, though technically I think it probably still does. But mines, you know, tend to be set off several times because people tend still to move in the same patterns. Like for some reason they never expect mines to go down there. And of course, they also never expect it for example you clear out the mines, you then lay down your own mines. There's also a fun one there. Basically, mines are, you know, have some blind spots in people's heads and can be exploited with mines. We got a Kedma for the moment to help deal with the Stuart. Of course, Patrick, another Kedma is going to be helpful versus the Stuart light tank here, the M501. They did by the late stage wars have the M24 Chaffee, which was a basically slightly improved light tank, more sloped armor, lower profile, and also a bigger gun. Roughly the same efficiency as the Sherman 75mm cannon, actually. Little fun fact there. Fultz in Norfolk there, Sturmgewehrs on the way for his brave infantry. And there you go, the Kedmaf out. Back and forth between the two players. Angreifen's got a small victory point lead. We got Minesweepers up for Alligators. He's obviously none too keen on having his men act as improvised minesweepers. Or for that matter, his tank. Because while that tank can go a lot of places, if it goes over a mine, it's not going to be going very much farther. In particular, there's a lot of Germans about with anti-tank weapons. Angreifen making another push around the calf pump. You can see the Alligator setting up a screen there with infantry, making it a bit harder there for Angreifen to make such a push. Up north, swimming on its own, no anti-tank support nearby. The Fortifications might try and flank up in Panzerfaust. The Kedden for the inbound. Sturm Pioneers, Pangs the Kugelwagen. There you go, big push in the centre. Alligator swarms with infantry. Panzerfaust and the Stuart. The Kedden up from the church, revealing its position and its existence. Ramping almost wiping out the Fultz Grenadiers. Situation collapsing a bit here for the 116th Panzer. This one in the centre. Hiccups, my apologies. And there you go, full squad. They're close being wiped out with the double rifle and the M1 Garand's really having an impact there. And Jürgen barely makes it, but he does make it. Schumpers close in there, pushing back the rifleman. The situation now on the map is looking a bit favourable here for Alligators at the moment, though he's not actually holding any of the victory points now. On the other hand, he's holding a lot of the other points, including both munition points, so if he can actually use that munitions, that could prove to be a quick advantage here over Angreifen. I mean, a bunch of BARs, bazookas, mines if the other goes for heavy cavalry or infantry company. I mean, there's a lot of options there, to be honest, for Alligators. You just need to actually choose any of them. As for Angreifen, continue taking up soon would not be a bad choice either. He could get Obersoldaten, light machine guns, or Sturmgewehrs there with Spec Ops. So there are a few options as well for Angreifen. Of course, we go to Fortifications. I mean, could be other options. We'll see, we'll see. Oh, what's your guesses? Also an idea? No, not necessarily the most efficient of ideas. We've certainly seen players who go for it and then just can't really pull it off, as it is a very tricky doctrine and not necessarily even that amazing when used. Oh, we actually got here the detection on for the Kugelwagen. So Fritz, how do you detect these Americans? Oh, it's that simple. I turn on the radios. Those guys do not know any sort of, you know, protocol or discipline. Kugelwagen falling back. Nasty hit there. Rifle versus Volksgrenadiers. Volks are doing what they can here, but they're up against barred up riflemen. That is definitely a problem here for the Volksgrenadiers. That is definitely a problem. Even with assault rifles, if they got double bars out, the Volksgrenadiers are going to have a very rough time since they simply cannot match the firepower. And that's going to really require Obersoldaten or something big there from Angreifen to really challenge those riflemen. He's going to have to like really just pile on the bodies. But the problem is, Alligators has a lot of infantry as well, so that's not necessarily the best tactic there. At least sort of solid tactic in the longer term. So Obersoldaten I think will be necessary. And some armour. Always some armour. But there you go, Academy spotted it. Bad development here for Angreifen, in particular gets swiped and Alligators then secures it. But there you go, looks like they're able to salvage it. Folks are running away as well. Other squad they're covering up very good. And they send a big push here by the cap. We got Sturmpanzer from nearby to sort of thwart such an attempt, but actually ends up retreating. Alligators there with lots of BARs up, possibly some bazookas as well. Actually doesn't look like it. Many missions and possibly going elsewhere. And there we go, Obersoldaten for Angreifen for the 1 and 16th Panzerdivision Winhund. Rockets flying, Stuart setting in there, closing in on Veterans 1. Kugelwagen needs to retreat, that is already low on health. And Sturmpani is all taking nice hit there from the Stuart Light Tank, need to get the shites out of there. Back here, healing reinforcements going there for Angreifen. Troops retreating, this means he actually has very little pressure on the front line at the moment. Like, all of his troops except for that squad is back at the base receiving first aid. Got the M5A1 moving up. We got the not Sis-3, but the M1 anti-tank on the way there. That's going to help us any German armour Angreifen might pile out because it has a very good rate of fire, pretty good penetration for any medium armour. Versus heavy armour, of course, to an extent struggles, but even then, armoured piercing rounds and its rate of fire can actually compensate quite well for that. Since it shoots about 50% faster than the other anti-tank guns, where Pack 40 can get 2 shots in a certain amount of time, the M1 can get out 3 shots, which of course means you got 2 M1 anti-tank guns, you can actually lay down some vicious fire that can very quickly threaten most German armour easily. Stuart heading northwards to deflect the German attack, but even as that happened in the south, Angreifen strikes as well, and in the centre as well. He's actually extending his forces quite aggressively. He might hope to just force Alligators to have to pick a fight somewhere, in which case he then pushes forwards where he didn't pick the fight. So far it seems like he's heading northwards aggressively, which means he's to an extent conceding that. Of course, the Schwer Panzer Corps helps a bit here, so he can actually afford more resource in the south to advance with for Deutschland. Closing in on some armour there. As for Alligators, we do have some tech as well, but another player has yet to commit. Oh, no, I'm just about to say they haven't committed. We got Fortifications docking up here for Angreifen. Germany. Deutschland. We shall see what they start with. I mean, very like going out with Pack 43s and howitzers. He really loves those. S-mines also, I think, a very good candidate for something I'm aiming for. And as Hard Force defending up against a big push here with the captain and some barred up riflemen. Sweeping away the Volksgrenadiers, the cover compromised. The camera of the spot, the ensign scurrying away as well. There you go, got the M4A1 setting out. Sturmpani's going in the centre, back here troops in reinforcing. And the far south there, there's Stuart rushes in, flanks behind the Volksgrenadiers, threatening their survivability, their very lives. There you go, rapid pushed out, made out here for Alligators. Angreifen, though, I think, is going to be able to get out of tank first if he goes to the Panzer IV. If that is what he's aiming for. He could very well consider just aiming for a Panther. Or something else. Orbital done on the defense up north. Grabbing the centre victory point, the south point there being secured. And we got the Pack 43 up here for Angreifen, the Panzer up there, Kholodny Ferma. There was also a field cannon version of that, which of course double as artillery. Fun fact. Basically the same gun is used in the Yak Panther, the Elephant Tank Destroyer, the Nashorn, you name it. Most of the heavier ones, except for the Yak, you could pretty much use the same gun. And of course the King Tiger used the same gun. So a little fun fact there. Little fun fact, making a bunker up here to help defend the centre victory point. Likely going to be upgraded, of course, to the machine gun bunker, because that's the only thing it can be upgraded to, Dean. That's the only thing it can be upgraded to. It's not the Wehrmacht's bunker. Sherman's on the way. In the south, we got the forces of the riflemen. Close with the WRs, they should have a good chance unless it pops an incendiary grenade. Even then, it might be too late now. The BARs are just shattering the Fultz grenadiers. Sherman are taking some. Oh, Stuart actually taking some nasty. The Sherman is yet to arrive, but almost done. Very good work there. Good to see the major maybe go down if it's not retreating. And in the centre, it's jump on to be rushed by the captain. The Orbitals are moving forward here with the LMG 34, bringing the rifle in there, and Sturmpani is repulsed. Did get a wipe, and that was in fact the major who bit the dust in a major way. Sherman almost done. Captain opened the Fultons moving forwards. No BARs up for the captain. Interesting to note there. Most players would also upgrade the captain, since of course he's got the Thompson, had some BARs into him, and he's really, really good. Like, he's basically a second lieutenant. And the lieutenant is really, really good. So I'm a bit surprised he's not upgrading the captain with any bars, since he would benefit from it massively. But there you go. Sherman tank out for Alligators. Still no sign of adoption though. Or any sort of deeper plan there. Got the force being pushed up back. We got the Sherman advance. We got the Kidman from nearby. Still no sign of armour there for Angreifen. No Panzer IV. No Panther. We got the Pack 33, and that's about it. Of course, the Pack 33 can move about in its own. And would require a larger artillery tractor as opposed to. Because that thing definitely could not be moved by, you know, hands or humans, at least not without an awful lot of them. Got the Sherman moving in, opening up. All of a sudden, they're quickly suffering losses. Otto finds himself splattered across the ground here by the Sherman. Yeah, got one. Great, you're firing high explosive rounds. You're supposed to get more than one with it, Carl. Panzer IV on the way there for Angreifen, so he does end up with the good old Panzerkampfwagen 4, workhorse of the German Panzerwaffe. Also, at least got some heavy damage in there from the Pack 33. That was probably the Stuart that took one hell of a hit there from the heavy anti-tank gun. There was also, by the way, a Pack 44, which has the same gun as the Jagd Tiger. And that one definitely could also double as artillery. Reactions to the bazooka straight to the Fultz gun. There's not a lot of Fultz being upgraded, which is interesting to note there. Of course, he is spending missions a bunch of other things, including S-mines. So can't fully fault him for that. Panzer almost done. Engagement up north as well. Here we can see Alligators launching a series of attacks here and there. Some to base draw attention away from the main push. Panzer IV there, they're mobilised for the German army. Pin them up machine on the way as well. They're fully doing what they can. Right, and they're being cut to ribbons as they found themselves exposed out in the open. Shoot, Fritz, just shoot. Try not to aim too hard. Just point in the general direction and pull the trigger. Got the Panzer IV moving right, and they're quickly falling out in the face of such German engineering. And we got the doctrine from Alligators. It is infantry, rather late than most players. They like to go for it much soon as they get out those light machine guns on the riflemen. Even the VS launch maybe as soon as possible, but he's been rather late in choosing, indicating not going for the artillery more than anything else, which is interesting to note. Though of course could be helpful versus the Pack 43. Also got a pack out for Alligators, so he's been to make more and more use of the doctrine, and well, not the doctrine, but you know the company command post. In fact, he'll then build something of each thing there, and to tank gun pack out to Stewart. He's also got the Captain obviously, so nice little achievement there, I guess, for Alligators for the 19th Infantry Division. Okay, now running out. Sherman Stewart opening up, the folks are pushing them back quite aggressively, leaving them desperately backing for survival. Using the back out there to basically try and clear out the bunker. Got the Panther moving ahead. And there you go, direct hit on the anti-tank gun. The Kenworth moving up, anti-tank shoots, misses the Panther 4. Got a smoke screen off here from the Sherman. Very good, very good. And there you go, the Kenworth for a pulse. Almost being wound up. Pack out, they almost helps finish it off, but just barely gets away. Very close one there, very close one. A bit lucky there for Angreifen. But the Pack 43 is actually restraining Alligators' moves. This is a bit unsure how to proceed because the Pack 43 can very quickly take out any of his tanks if he's not careful. So he needs to some way or the other basically silence the Pack 43 or just some way of isolating it. And that's based on the trick that so far he's focusing on taking out the machine gun bunker. Up north, we've got the swimming in the orbital and they're being flanked right, and they're being cut to bits and pieces, and there you go. Taking Mounts here to move into the Panther to get the Stewart out of there. Folks are moving up, going to try and flank behind, get off a Panther fast. We got stand runs out here, there you go. Just trying to slow down the Panther, prevent pursuit. Good work, good work. Very good work there by Alligators and his Stewart. Machine gun bunker there, barely operable, but is still fighting the good fight for the fatherland. Packard, I imagine, will be firing soon again. Now the trot on the way there for Angreifen, like the mechanized, could be he's planning a King Tiger here. Bit risky to try and stall for the King Tiger, but it could work out. It could work out depending on the situation. But he has not been harassing Alligators field very much lately, so he'll not be quite successful as he'd hoped for. Oh, hits a mine. Oh, it's S mines. They got the Pack 43 there, ready to shoot, and he might attack ground here, hoping to catch it. There we go, right next to the big strategic point. You can actually be seen by the Pack 43 there. Let's go there for Alligators. There you go, Panther Hot pursuit rifle away, can't block there with an anti-tank rifle grenade. Hit on the rear arm of the Panther Sherman, and there we go, damaging the Panzer Force Jump to be able to escape now. That's going to be a pretty close one there, pretty close. Things did not go well at all there for Alligator. Angreifen have a lot of manpower. Could consider maybe some more machine gun bunkers to defend other vital areas. We got mines being spotted up north here to make a really big push here for Alligators. Like 3 rival squads plus 3 Asians there hauling a quite the sizable arsenal there in support weapons up. There's BARs and bazookas. We got the Jackson away there for Alligators. Starting to worry about enemy armor more and more. Might be starting, of course, to think there's a King Tiger on the way. We got the mechanized regular up here for Angreifen. And up north here, we got the rear assaulted by the orbital and backed up by the mighty Kublai, which is still using detection. So afraid to hear anything about Onso's radius ads and orders? Yeah, to keep talking about bacon. Lots of bacon. I don't know why. That makes me envious. Jackson the way there for Alligators almost done. He could use the captain to revive speed up the production. Of course, he might not feel that is necessary. And it's still worth noting he has yet to upgrade the captain still with any weapons. I mean, again, BAR's bazookas could do him a lot of good. Or just a brown light machine and then the BAR, since you can't go from the doctrine here. I mean, most American players who do go for infantry will go for the brown light machine guns, but for the reason Alligators decided he does not need that. Rifle big bazookas went up. There we go. Kubelwagen survived an impact. Good God. Pretty lucky there for Angreifen. Panzer IV, they're waiting repairs. No repair parties up there for Angreifen, but I'm guessing again he's stalling here for the Königstiger. But Alligators is swiftly seizing notable parts of the map here. We got photos there with the bazooka. There we go, armoured column out here for Alligators, sweeping ahead in a slightly weird spearhead formation with a Jackson, that is the weakest one, leading the way west to Sherman's attack. There you go, switches things around, good work. Much better for sure, much better. They're not quite where the enemy tanks are, they're in fact busy up north. Trying to get a weapon in the echelons, and close, but not quite bingo. So what's Alligators going to go for next? We're actually trying to Priesthood, trying to blast out the pack 43. And we can see the Angreifen's adding in something big of his own. Like to felt our bits for that artillery fun. Rather than being spotted by the Panzer IV, folks coming from the other side, engaging and penetrating them, forcing those unfortunate Yankees away. More troops arrive, rather being repressed. Panzer IV, hot in pursuit. Down here, troops in reinforcing, and we've got the howitzer good to go here for Germany. Pack howitzer, actually not really. He's basically using it to try and take out the bunker, but that kind of means it's missing out a lot of opportunities to murder other stuff. Which, of course, is to an extent great for Angreifen, I suppose. I mean, he could be shooting out the Pack 43 as an example, but isn't. North, Jackson is spawning the infantry versus the Panzer IV. Very good, very good. Disposition enemy on the south. The Germans do it there. Is roaming about trying to slay any German troops. And there you go, howitzer firing. He's probably trying to take out the Pack howitzer, but due to having no direct line of sight. And also due to the range, the howitzer is actually quite inaccurate and just scattering all over the place. Orbital on there, veteran T2. German sending out, shooting northward today, actually close to base level. And we do get the priest out here for Alligators. With his Swan and Feynman and the howitzer, the priest was actually based on the Sherman chassis. Fun little fact there. Try to blast away at those Nazis and shatter them into pieces. But the question is, of course, what is he going to try and shatter? Will it be the Pack 43? Will it be the bunker? Will it be that howitzer? Or will it be that suspicious looking tree? The Nazi tree. Guess we find out eventually. After firing off, thinking to break up Alligators' assault. So it looks like, and there we go, and it looks like holding here by Alligators. On the bunker, the priest still isn't firing. Although he's clearly had enough of just trying to take it out with the pack house, and he calls in the big guns. And there you go, the machine gun bunker finally gives up. But, oh, there we go, we got the priest firing now, opening up there with its 100mm gun. Looks like he's shooting around the pack for the who trying to take it out. Or is he? Oh, he's going for counter. He's actually trying to take out Angreifen's howitzer with the priest. Getting a few minor kills, but nothing serious so far. Can he actually do it? Can he actually do it? close but no cigar. He might actually want to try and move it up here. He's basically moved a bit closer enough so the scatter decreases a bit. But seems like he's a bit worried about that. Out of the way. Lots of artillery on the field, 2 howitzers and 1 pack howitzer. Of course, one of those howitzers is self-propelled. Of course, the Germans also had their own self-propelled howitzers like the Vesper, which had 105 mm howitzer base of this one, and you also had the Hummel, which of course is known from countries one of the Panzer Elite, which was equipped with a 150 mm howitzer. Now for the Germans, of course, those vehicles were a bit rarer. Rather than the almost on the upside of the ship, turning into a small improvised wooden bunker. Fritz, I'm not entirely sure this thing is a bunker. I barely call it a shed. I mean, look at it. It was made by the Belgians. So you don't know how to build things. They know how to fry things, but not build it.
We've dropped to 200 points.
200 points left here for Alligators. Starting to look a bit rough. Priest ready to fire again to unleash another sermon of thunderous proportions. Looks like the house is actually getting some kills inside the base. Somewhere else. Up north to it there was the Panzer IV. Angreifen might be setting up for the King Tiger. And there goes sweeping assault on the south. Has been caught here by the dog BARs with the BARs. We've got the Sherman up to back up. Very good, very good. Almost got those Fultz Grenadiers. Far up north, mine spotted as the liaisons creep ahead. And Angreifen seems to largely be abandoning the north here to Alligators. Very good for him. That's good for Angreifen. And there you go, the assaults in the centre also being inflated. Pack 43 firing away. They forgot about it. Machine gun bunker up again. And a tank gun hanging back. We tried to use the priest to silence it. No, he's still trying to take out the howitzer. So far, they've hit the tree more than it's, I think, got the howitzer. Which is a bit unfortunate. And really doesn't help his tanks in helping gain control of the centre victory point either. I mean, he could try and creep up and then use the time on target until he barrels to take it up. I mean, that could be an idea. Since the Pack 43 can't dodge it. Another artillery barrage on the base. Shot fired there by the Jackson. Show moving up, opening up the Fultz Grenadiers. We've got the pack house hanging back close. So, no, it is Vet 22 actually. 164 on 369. Starting to look a bit more rough here for Alligators. Angreifen's defensive position is definitely slowing him down. And for some reason, he's just not trying to deal with it one way or the other. Up north there, a bit more pressuring. So it's happening at very slow progress. The Oberstleutnant are certainly giving their all for Germany. Priest ready to fire again. So is the howitzer almost. We got another shot there for Alligators for freedom, America. There you go, good from the kidnap from the Stuart. He's going to lose it though, he's going to lose it. Ace Stuart crew obliterated. BAR dropped out there. Now using the priest to try and take out the unity in the south. Roughly I would say the same accuracy as taking out the outer, to be honest. In this case they end up doing too much for the priest. Pack out in hand doing I think a bit more there as the Fultz Grenadiers hold up behind cover. In the centre moving towards the victory point. They're being suppressed here by the machine gun bunker. Panzer IV inbound as well there. Angreifen getting very close to the King Tiger, except he doesn't have the population for it. And Alligator's actually beyond full pop out there. Jackson double Sherman's priest, a lot of infantry, but there you go. Unit white. The church collapses, entombing them for all eternity. In the south, Bix being pushed with the infantry, but that leaves the centre victory point here a bit hard to take, and so nothing to take the northern one. We got S-mine. Well, regular mines actually. We got booby traps as well. Very good by Angreifen. So what do you use for booby trapping up there? Oh, I used a copy of the Declaration of the Independence. The Americans love it. They always run for it. Blitzkrieg artillery called in the pack for the fleet. He's gonna try and crush them. Oh! Oh! Sadly doesn't work. Sadly, it does not work. They can still easily dodge it, unfortunately. But there you go, Panzer damage. Pack for the fleet is done. Jumps up through the center there. King Tiger is getting reasonably close here. Shots fired. Panther about to go down here. Units taking losses there. Casualties piling up. Panther 4 there. Ace level. Sherman trying to take it out head on. Not looking good. Pack for the recruit. There you go. Panther fast off. Sherman down. Sherman down. Priest is silent. Not firing here. And there you go. Alligators surrender. That is the player and not the actual alligators. So victory here for Germany. A brutal, hard-fought battle here. In the end, the pack for the fleet turned out to be a really good element here. Certainly slowed down a lot of the freedom of movement here of alligators' tanks. And he just struggled in actually dealing with it. He just, I think, rushed it sooner with artillery and just tried to take it out permanently. He probably in a much better position. But because he just kept playing around it, or just, you know, in some ways just struggled with just playing with it on the field, he just, you know, ended up dominating the field so much and just really gave him some good feel there. Of course, this will not work on all maps. Kholodny Ferma is one of the maps where pack for the freeze work the best due to the nature of it basically being a series of choke points. I mean, the pack for the freeze can really just be absolutely nasty, in particular where the buildings are situated across the centre as well there. So, I mean, a part of it was just the map there again favouring pack for the freeze, but also some good play there, good use of mines, booby traps, S-mines, all that. Great work there by Angreifen. Alligators again should have dealt with the pack for the few better, because also, you know, going for Doctor and soon had brown light machine guns up, mortar half tanks. There are a lot of things that he could have done, but he just ended up not doing. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. You can send a replay on via the link in the channel description, video description there. Do provide details around the leaderboards, ranking, and all that. And of course, if you like what we do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Do consider, as this helps me out, you know, making videos day after day. So please support if you can. Links, of course, in the description as for that. So cheers, everybody. You all are one for the audience. Hope to see you tomorrow again for another Sky episode. Bye.